Hi, welcome to the BYOD podcast, the podcast where the guest defines the topic. As always, presented from NASA, not another stand up app. The Jira app that makes your meetings, especially your agile meetings, meaningful and funny again. So give it a try. Today with me is Sabrina from Catworks, and we will talk about how to set up partner management from scratch from a growing company of 50 employees to a huge global company with a couple of hundred teammates. So it's really a challenge, and Sabrina found a refreshing, structured, and sometimes a little bit chaotic way to do it. So I'm sure you will enjoy it. Give it a try. Thanks for watching, and see you. So, welcome back. Today with me is Sabrina from Catworks. Sabrina is responsible for the partner management at Catworks, and we know each other since a couple of years. Had amazing projects together, but also amazing events. So I joined a cool partner event, a river cruise, last year with all Catworks consultants. Amazing sessions, amazing sightseeing. So hi, Sabrina, welcome. Hi.
Hi Björn, thank you for your invite.
Yeah, how is it going? How is life? So it's Friday. So are you looking forward to the weekend?
I think it would be very sunny at the weekend, so chillax with some friends, at the sea, have barbecue, and yeah, do things outside, of course. And you? What are your plans?
Similar. I think there is a birthday from a friend. We're going to a fancy dinner place, and then yeah, enjoying the weather. Definitely enjoying the summer.
Nice.
Good. So, you are since a couple of years in the Atlassian ecosystem, and I know we recorded together already a German version of the podcast, so means I have already a lot of knowledge um, about your journey so far. And there's one interesting point that you are started in a small European country in the Atlassian ecosystem, completely with a different background. You learn something completely different, and somehow jumped into the Atlassian ecosystem. Tell us a little bit about this story.
Oh my God. If you mentioned already, it's already years ago. So I joined the Catworks in 2018 with Andreas Krupp and Michi Bernhard. So we started the brand in Switzerland. Before I had two educations, one as a office clerk and one as a notary assistant. And I worked for a long time in a car dealer. So I'm definitely a lateral entrant. Um, yes. And then we started in Switzerland, the small brand. And yeah, now I'm the partner manager global with 260 people approximately. Yeah.
So, how is it? I mean, you definitely grew in your role, but at the same time, Catworks also expanded. So it started in Switzerland with a more local brand. Then you extended and delivered staff services, Atlassian related solutions and consultants in the DACH region, which is Germany, Switzerland, Austria, not only. So, how has your role changed from the beginning, and how has also the Atlassian world changed in your journey from 2018 till now?
So in my own perspective, if already said, we started as three people. So I started in the back office. I have some marketing activities, some sales activities, and of course, I also ordered some coffee somewhere. So I've done everything by my own, writing offers, invoices, do the whole financial thing. And it was a long way, but a nice way. So when I started, we were in the Dutch region, approximately 50 people. And then we grow a lot, and we had a lot of acquisition the last years. In 2022, we were acquired from the Time to Act group. Then 2023, we acquired the Stager, the Brainbit, Suara, and last year, the last acquisition was the Everett. So this was from the Catworks side a very huge change. And from the Atlassian part of when I see it from the other glasses, I started completely classical with the server model, I would say. And you had no touch points, well, less touch points to the EAs, and you know the EAs by names, and you had like sometimes a direct connection with the service desk people. And right now, years in the future, we are only talking about the cloud. We have the enterprise model, the mid-market model, and Atlassian grows also. And we are talking about huge GDPR regularities. We're talking about a deep dive, OILAs, and so on. So it's so different. In the beginning, you could sell some license with server, and when the maintenance was off, you can work anyway. And right now, yeah, it's very hard and difficult, but interesting, I would say.
So yeah, well, world is changing. I mean, from my perspective, Atlassian went also more from a really tech company, dev company, with always these the classic tech flavor. Also, it was not like the Salesforce or the HubSpot or the other big ones. No, it was a little bit more nerdy, more geeky, and yeah, it changed. I mean, now Atlassian is funding the Formula One team, a lot of
Oh.
advertisement, and a lot of deal things. Um, to your role changes. So means when you did everything by yourself. So means sales, marketing, finance, office assistant, support. Um, So this has always a benefit that you are responsible for your own activities. I mean, everybody's always responsible for their own activity. You have the whole end-to-end process in your own hands. Um, my experience is that it could be somehow difficult when you grow in other roles. The team is extended, so responsibilities are splitted and shared. That on some point you need to give away these responsibilities, and then for me, then it's always difficult that I'm sometimes end up in situations like, I also know how it works, and maybe I know it a little bit better, and then I can't shut up. So they unasked, unasked advices and so on. So, how difficult was it for you to give away these responsibilities and to work with a growing team?
Absolutely difficult. I can definitely say that. So I'm also a person similar than you. When I see something I need to talk about, I can't shut up. And also when you have your or created your own process, there was a point, your own process, your own workflow, you had your own relationship to the customer. It was so deep dive. And then from like a day to another, everything changed. So yeah, sometimes in a smooth way, but sometimes you couldn't do it in a smooth way because there are so many things. So you can't write down, for example, a relationship to a customer and give it to another colleague. That's not possible. So it's a long way to build this relationship, and also the whole process from the financial during marketing, including the sales, and you can't bring everything together. And
Mm.
yeah, that was a huge change also in my mind. But I have decided for me to how I can say that, to don't look back. That was the whole decision when I talk to myself and I write it down in a huge on a huge letter. Let things go. Focus on the new things and of course, colleagues do something or do some things different. Things go maybe wrong, but then they learned it in the same way than you learned it. You don't done everything as well very good in the beginning. So um, yeah, it was a long
Yeah,
way, but right now I think
I, I
I
can
work.
imagine. It's,
Yeah.
I can imagine that these when you see a teammate, a colleague who is doing something in a specific way, and you know already, oh, I did the same mistake. So, but very often it is not a good way to explain upfront the colleague, hey, do it this or this, because then the person can't learn by themselves. So that's yeah, I can imagine. I know this from the past. It's a hard way, and it's hard on some point to say to yourself, okay, shut up, you don't say something. Um,
Yeah.
so okay, giving away responsibility is one part in a growing company. But you mentioned in the beginning already your role is now the global partner management. Means also your role, I assume, changed a lot. Additional new responsibilities for you, um, and also an extended, let's call it, action area. Yeah, from Switzerland, Germany, Austria to a global role. You mentioned all the acquisitions which happened from Catworkx or to Catworkx. I know that you also are open now, or you have now local business units in United States. So, how is it for you to work from a more local perspective to a global perspective now? How you manage it? How you manage time zone conflicts? How you manage relationships which just exist virtually over thousands of miles or kilometers?
Yes. So I think in the IT environment, when you started in the IT, you have to work like virtual. So okay, some companies are working in an office, but latest when COVID was, you have to work from home, and it was not so difficult for the IT companies as for like if I worked before with a car dealer. So I think that was already given the environment. So from this perspective, it was not so hard. But to know, okay, your colleague from my side is sitting in Brazil. We have the time zone. I couldn't see her, or I can't say, okay, let us meet in the office in 1 week in Hamburg, for example. That's not possible. I wish it could, and but I was completely open to everything because humans are humans. And I'm not this person say, okay, I won't work with people from the US because of some reasons. So in the beginning, it was a little bit difficult because when she wake up approximately at 2 EMEA time, um, I had already worked a lot, and then she started. Okay, how can we handle it? But right now, after a couple of months already, a year, um, it's pretty nice and easy because right now from my team, I work in the morning, she start in the midday. We had sometimes a handover, and then she work during the evening and like the night. So the partner management, it's more than I would say 15 hours um, online. So it's pretty nice.
So means you have extended office hours now for
Yes.
all your partners. Really
Partner
putting
management 24/7.
okay, so let's talk a little bit about the partners. So, I mean, we are marketplace partners. We are normally knocking exactly on your door and say things like, "Hey, Sabrina, can we do a joint marketing campaign or joint webinars? We want to somehow work together on your customer base. We want to address your audience." And I assume we are not the only one. I can guess there are a couple of hundred marketplace partners who are doing this on a daily basis. Um, Now, in my past life, I also worked in a services company in a similar situation with in a huge global company with hundreds of vendors, and it also happened every day. So on some point, you need to filter. As a partner management, you need to, or that was my understanding, you need to figure out what could be valuable for us, for our services, for the consultancy, and so on. Because at the end, this is paying the bills. This is the value to your customers that you provide Atlassian related services and other consultancy to them. How do you filter these? I mean, you can't just pass through all the hundreds of marketplace partners to your department and say, "Hey, good luck." Um, so, how do you filter this? How do you make a decision? What could be valuable for Catworks? What is at the moment not so valuable? Where should we invest our time and where not? Do you have a proper structure for this, or is it more based on feelings or based on the relationship to the people? How does it work?
This is a really interesting and huge question, of course. Um,
Not a small one.
Thank you. So we started 1 year ago with a completely rebuilding from the partner management, and on this point, we had to to choose some way to start, and then we started with all the if you already said, tons of emails from LinkedIn over mails, newsletters, and so on, and categorized them. First of all, we checked the marketplace out and checked out how many installs their apps have, how many apps they have, and also how big the app vendor is. So sometimes when you got an email or I I got a Atlassian help me out to be the biggest app vendor in the world, and I got a funding and so on. And then you see the marketplace and of course also the website from the company, you see, okay, it's a one-man show, one app, zero installs, zero revenues. Okay, I think that's not the partner who we can make so many value for the future. So we categorized them. Then we asked them how many turnovers you done with Catworks and also the acquired companies the last 12 months. And
Mm.
then we got a revenue. And then we categorized then like in platinum, gold, silver, and someone, of course, also like beyond Atlassian. They have no marketplace partners on marketplace apps on the marketplace. That is how we started, and then we have also the direct communication. And in this communication, very often when we ask about their strategy, right now the for cloud first strategy, and also in the future, we had already the completely zero march from data center on the license part. How is your service in the future? How engaged are you to build service or solution with us in the future? This is right now our most important question, because everybody knows Atlassian and their price politics and the license politics. So what you also already said, we will sell our customers and will make money with them in the future to bring them to the customers, and we help out the customers with the services.
Mm.
And this is from the license or value perspective. And we have also changed something in the Catworks. Right now, we're working with capabilities, project deliveries, and also managed service and support. And the capabilities are a huge part from the partner management now. So there we have different practices and competencies, practices and competency leader. So one focus on the ITSM practice, for example, then agile, DevOps, and so on. And these colleagues help us completely out from the technical perspective. So when we had a partner, sorry, go ahead.
No, 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 no. Finish your sentence. I have already follow-up questions.
Okay, good. So when we had a partner, first of all, we asked them with the turnovers, of course, because it's very important for us, and then we asked them how is their strategy. So and also right now, and I need to mention it here, have there also a forge strategy for the apps. But I think this topic will become later as well. So like revenue, service, forge, and then when everything it's, yeah, I would say fine for us, and I think that's also revenue for the from the technical part and for the whole Catworks, we move it forward to the practices or competencies, and they reach out from the technical part with them and make a like enablement session, demo session, and we looked out if it's possible to build, for example, a solution, a campaign, or use cases, something like that.
Yeah, got it.
Huge answer, but it was also a huge
No,
patience.
no, no, I think I totally get it. And I have tons of questions to this. But to summarize a little bit, if I understood you correctly, so means um, partners are categorized based on revenue, based on their strategy. I like the point with the Forge strategy, Atlassian Forge strategy, because this is somehow the um, making the decision if this marketplace partner has a future strategy, because Atlassian is definitely pushing every marketplace partner at the moment to Forge. And then also the mix with your or the alignment with your solutions and services. Um, makes totally sense for me. How is it now with you mentioned also these one app in the marketplace, zero installs. So it could be now when this is since 10 years in the marketplace, okay, then it's definitely an unsuccessful app for sure. But what if this is since a week in the marketplace and the idea is a next big thing after sliced bread? So normally this would fall out a little bit out of your categorization or your filter. So do you have in Catworks the possibility to have somehow like wildcards? Okay, we allow small startups, 5 small startups per quarter to also reach out to us to experiment a little bit with the fancy new stuff and so on. Or is it super strict that no call you can call me when we had one revenue together? Right. How hard are your rules there?
We have for our practices and competency like a joker. So if they know already a partner and they work already with them um, in the last years, for example, and they have a very good relationship and they think, okay, it makes sense, then of course we can partner with them. And also, we answer every email and every incoming request. Sometimes with the same question, what could we, how could we work together, and what is the ROI for Catworks when we're partnering with you? So we definitely answer everything, and there you see the different answers, and so you can see the details and how interesting is it. And with the most, we make of course also a small call, and then you have the direct. A a direct person behind, and then you see, okay, it makes sense or it doesn't make sense, or yeah, it's in the beginning, or the people don't know about something, or it's completely since years in the ecosystem and rebuild something. So uh, very often it's then the direct conversation.
Okay, that's I like this joker point. Um, so a second part of or second responsibility in partner management is now you have all these relationships with your partners, which is in old speech your suppliers. Yeah? So they provide somehow a solution, a product which you take, you build solutions around the stuff and offer it to customers. Um, what I had always two aspects in the past which I found super difficult. So one is how to manage the knowledge in an organization. So let's assume you have now 100 of these partners, but you have also hundreds of consultants, salespeople in Catworks and so on. And you need to make sure that they are aware of that a resolution exists, that NASA, not another standard pad exists, and what it's doing. So, I mean, I can tell you hours and hours what it's what's doing, but at the end, the people with with a customer contact with the problem solver and need to have somehow knowledge as well. But at the same time, they can't be expert in everything. So there's somehow a constraint um, in this. So this is one part of the question. The second part is the timing of this aspect. So I had it in the past very often that I met a company or I found a solution, whatever, and I found, okay, that's super cool. But at the end, the magic is that you need to write you need to find the right timing to have also this customer demand on exactly this solution in a similar time frame. So means I can present today our out of office app to your salespeople when you don't have in the next 6 to 12 months any use case, everything is forgotten. So how do you in Catworks, how do you try to solve these two problems, two challenges? Yeah, how do you do it?
So communication, of course, I think it's in every bigger company. I wouldn't say a problem, but I would say a difficult thing. It starts from the different roles we had. It ends of someone is on vacation and come back and had tons of notification and need to decide what is important or not. And so we decided right now what we do with, and I will also include newsletters because sometimes they're interesting, and sometimes I would say, okay, for whom is it interesting? We decided from this side. So we had a Slack channel where we work with all the vendors together and also with a dedicated technical person and the marketing team. So we have the dedicated person in one channel. Then we have our Teams channel where we have also different groups. One huge group with everything, then one like capability group, and then it's yeah, we hope, or they will definitely do that, spread it then the information outside in the whole delivery. And what we're doing with the newsletters, I think that that's the interesting part. Um, we collect them from the whole week, and then we see, okay, what is interesting from which vendor, how we need to highlight it, or we need to spread it to a new thing, and then we create a blog post. So with the hugest information, once in a week for internally, and this blog post we also send them to the people who definitely knew this information. And then we have also a Catworks newsletter because there are also some interesting information for customers, like price upgrades, feature upgrades. It's not only interesting for our own colleagues, it's also interesting for the customers who use that. So this newsletter from our side with the including information went out to our customers. And then right now in the planning is we will also do a LinkedIn post, I don't know, 2 times in a month like this with all the interesting informations, yeah. But
Sounds like complex communication streams. A lot of different things happening. Also, again, the filtering. So means you need to read hundreds of newsletters, and you need to decide um, what information is interesting for team or for the team or for customers. But interesting. Um, how is it with meetings? Let's go a little bit because you mentioned it in the beginning when we talked about the time zones and your colleagues and so on. Let's go a little bit in meeting culture. So you also mentioned you have a lot of meetings with partners. Um, let's come a little bit to your meeting behaviors. So are, are you a person who is journaling, preparing meetings, dedicated? So if 1 hour meeting with a partner means Sabrina is preparing it 30 minutes with all the questions, and writing later a beautiful protocol, or are you more the ad hoc person, jump into a meeting, try to figure out what's going on here in the first 1 2 minutes, and then you have all the needed questions, answers, etc. You have it ad hoc. So how what kind of person are you?
I would say I'm completely chaotic. That's true, but it depends on the meeting. So, when I know, I have a meeting, with a leader or like a one-to-one in a week or in 2 weeks, so I definitely need to prepare myself the 1 week before or like this, because there's so many things in the week that are upcoming, and I need to have it in my mind to discuss it then on the dedicated appointment. But sometimes I'm definitely chaotic, because I have something in my mind and I will talk to my colleague, but she will start at 2 in the afternoon. So, yeah, I'm this person to write something in Teams. I don't know, like only the name, like resolution, and then there we talk later. So, but we haven't an appointment yet. So, yes, and then I think the most people have that, like this paper things, and then with conference side, and it's completely not structured. And I don't know how people can work structured, also in meetings, because very often, and I think you know that as well, when you start a conversation, the conversation, and you have an agenda, the conversation, um, will definitely work in a completely another way if you thought about before when you start. So,
Yeah. Yeah, there's always a plan and then the real life, what's going on. But so I mean, it's what I see. I'm also more the chaotic meeting person. I learned in the last years to mix it a little bit up with preparation to guide things in a specific direction. I mean, for us was the trigger when we moved to a 4 day week, so we limited our time and the time of the whole team. So and this brought the demand of being more careful with our meeting time. But I still have it every day. A meeting starts with topic XYZ, and at the end, we discuss something completely different. Um, I personally think that's also good and that's important because I had an amazing conversation with Florian from Zybert. I don't know if you know him, and he said a really cool sentence. He said, when you don't discuss the priorities on the agenda, or you're not working on it, it was not completely related to meetings, or not just, or not only related to meetings. Um, he said, then it's simply not important enough. So then there's not enough passion about the topic at the moment. So, I mean, you can put the most boring topic on agenda point number one, but when nobody is working on it, then there is something wrong. And he explained it a little bit as a natural filter, or filtering what happens automatically. And this is what I understand a little bit from your meetings also, that yeah, you structure it when these are important, when these are meetings where a preparation is necessary. Um, but at the end, you have enough topics to discuss to also go talk into meetings. How is your colleagues doing it? So you mentioned you write a message on Teams to your colleagues. So it feels a little bit like remind me on XYZ. So is is she the note taker? Is she preparing the meetings, or are they working similar like you?
it depends. I'm very happy of my colleagues, definitely, and I'm proud of them because they are, I would say, the Confluence mouses, because they do everything in Confluence. They prepare, they write down, and I'm so happy to have them. Um, uh, Often it's the same than I have, when you prepare a call, in the future, because sometimes you haven't the time to make an appointment right now. We had this one-to-one conference site, and there we write some things down, and then the status and so on. But it's very hard to take care of it afterwards and work on it in the future and what's the next status. It takes time. And who had the time to work on conference pages and make the preparation and also the work after and fill it again in the site and yeah, next steps. And there's so many things you could write in, but it takes so many times. No
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I mean, the tools are getting better for it. We have all the AI note takers nowadays. We can much easier create Confluence
Like
basic with
like
that.
cloud, for example.
Yeah, but uh, it's really changing for me because I'm a lazy person when it comes to the topic writing things down. But nowadays, I mostly talk to my MacBook. So we use Super Whisper. So I talk the stuff. So create a summary of following 5 ideas. Bam, 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 bam. Structure it like a Confluence page. Um, and I created a lot of big Jira issues with big descriptions or Confluence pages. And then a colleague came to me and said, "Hey, all your stuff is AI written. It's really, really boring to read this stuff. Can you please add to your prompt that the AI should be on point and precise to it? Then the pages are getting much shorter." And so we harmonized it. But what I'm seeing, what's changing for me at the moment is that with these new tools, I read a lot more things. So when I look to myself a couple of years ago, I got my information mostly out of meetings, out of collaboration on projects together with people and the experience and so on. And so when I compare it with today, I read a lot more stuff because so many people generate more information written down. Um, Now I forgot my question, but and how I bridge to the question. But you said your colleague is working in Confluence, documenting the stuff, um, and so on. So you also work with a lot of different peering points in Catworks. So it's changing every day and so on. This often means you need to adapt a little bit how this team is communicating, how this team is communicating, and so on. Um, and you are now a relatively small partner management team. So, do you have some strategies how you manage sometimes these overwhelming bucket of tasks? I mean, I assume your job is relatively similar than mine. That the table at the end of the day is never empty. There's always things what you can do. A lot of people don't like this. How do you handle it to have always a full task list?
Whew. Hard to say the right answer. Um, I
Having barbecue at the weekend with friends
of
half.
course. And drink a beer, that's it. No, just kidding. I think it's a way how you work and how you see the important things and work on it, make some due dates and say, okay, for example, from the partner side, when I have different requests from different partners, also here I'm a platinum partner, I definitely respond faster than a silver partner. And it's not that I will blame them, but I need to focus. It's also with the communication. If already said, I got so many newsletters, and for me, a price increase with a huge app or a huge vendor, it's more important for the whole company or for the whole sales as you had a very small feature update with the app we sold already, I don't know, 2 times in a life. So for me, it's the same with you. I read a lot and then I think about, is it important? How important is it? And then I need to categorize. And sometimes I need also to reschedule some appointments to work on the important things. And the last thing what I will mention here, um, the important thing or work on my side is work very closely and every time on the first place are my colleagues. So when they have a problem or they are stopped somewhere, I I lie everything down and I work with them, then they can work further. So that is my important thing my whole life. Um, yeah.
So means you always try to unblock other people first, that somehow the process, the workflow, the general flow is rolling.
Oh,
Interesting.
yeah. Because
Interesting.
when somebody stopped somewhere and they can't, the person can't work anymore. So, and I work on my task, and that's, I don't know, with two colleagues, then everything like stopped. So they have also things to work around, but sometimes it's so important. So yeah, that's for me a very fundamental thing.
That brings me a little bit to the next point of the podcast. I mean, we touched a little bit what you're doing. We touched your meeting behaviors and learned that you are more the chaotic person. One part of the podcast is also that you're always allowed to bring your own topic, and your topic is bring your own dialogue. And I combine this now a little bit what you said now. The understanding who is blocked on something, and um, the point that you can help, that you're working on something, a colleague is writing you a Teams message, whatever, Sabrina, I need your help, I'm blocked, etc. This needs a conversation, and this is sometimes, especially in these virtual environments, it can be super hard. I also see it sometimes in our teams. So you have sometimes the situation that somebody is working on something stuck since hours on the task, and it could be so easy to just talk to person XYZ and would be immediately unblocked. But the person is not doing it for maybe multiple motivations. Maybe it's I want to solve it by myself, or I know my peering point who can help me is busy at the moment, so I don't want to add additional stuff on the plate, and so on. And at the same time, you have the complete vice versa situation, that you have the situations where somebody is not trying to solve something by themselves and immediately come to a peering point. Hey, can you help me with that? And it would be good what we had in the beginning. Hey, do it by yourself. Learn it. So then, and so on. So I assume you're doing this in dialogues. Are you a direct person that when I would come to you, maybe I have a Catworkx task, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going too quick to you. Sabrina, can you please do it for me? It's too hard for me. I have no time, etc. How would you react? Are you a direct person in a dialogue like this?
So Björn, if you gave me the question, I would say you can do it definitely by your own. So
Okay, it means the interesting point on this answer is it means it looks like that it depends who's asking.
yeah,
Okay.
no. Um, and also the relationship. No, it's just so you work very closely in your team, and you know already which colleagues have which knowledge. And for example, when I had already a conversation or a call with a vendor, and I gave it forward to my colleague and asked her, "Can you give them this and this answer in this email?" And she asked me back, "Can you give me please more details about it? I don't understand what you mean." Then of course I will answer her because she couldn't know that. But sometimes when I know this person done things, it's more in a sales perspective. So for example, you write an offer and you've wrote an offer already, I don't know, 20, 40, 50 times, including some promo codes. And then I got the question, how I can include a promo code. I would say, seriously, you can
Okay.
do it. I know. And please look 2 weeks ago, this potential, for example, you've done it. And so it's more than, yeah, I would say I'm very long with the Catworks, and I know already some people. With the new people, I make very long conversations to know them a little bit more and more. But I will first of all, I will help everybody. It's a little problem from my side because sometimes I think back to the beginning when the people when the colleague ask me and they can't do it, I do it quick by my own, then it's done, and you don't need to
Classic
do
mistake. Yeah, I
yeah.
also did it
Yeah.
times.
So, but I learned from that, and right now I'm in this position or this to yeah gave things to another people and they could do it.
I mean, when we relate this a little bit to your topic, so you said with new people in the organization, you have longer conversations. I mean, for you, is a dialogue an important tool in a work relationship to get on common ground to make the basement for working with each other, to have a proper understanding and so on. So does it mean you try to because that's a huge task in a big organization to creating a relationship to nearly everybody because partner management needs to work with nearly everybody. So means you are constantly running around and saying hello to new people and hey, let's have a nice chat, and you're pushing for these dialogues. Is it the right understanding?
Yes, but not in not with all colleagues. Yeah, it is some sort of fun story. Sometimes I get a request on LinkedIn, who will connect with you, and I click on this profile and say, "Oh, work with Catworks," and I thought, okay, I never heard about this person. It's very interesting. So, unfortunately, I can't have a relationship or like a knowledge call with each people who is new with the Catworks. I can't do it. But with the interesting parts, so the part through the capabilities, the part to the service, to the marketing, to the sales, it's very important for us because these different roles are for us very important to work with. And it's easier to have a direct relationship and know, for example, when the people, when this person go to holiday and where, and have the conversation about that, as you write only emails and you don't know the person, the emotional side of the person. And yeah, so for me, it's virtual meetings. Unfortunately, virtual meetings or meeting face to face are very, very important. And yeah, that's a basic.
How do you Yeah, so how do you like then tools like Loom? I mean, at Atlassian acquired Loom a couple of years ago already. I had tons of conversations with people who like it a lot, because you can quickly record it, you share it with your colleagues. Um, I find Loom has tons of benefits, but also a lot of downside when you use it on the wrong timing. It's again about timing. Yeah, when a meeting is a better format for something to solve, then Loom could be so wrong. But at the same time, the situation exists that Loom could be so right for where a meeting is totally bad. My example was till 1 week till I had the conversation with the kid from Accenture because he said the town hall meetings from them are so collaborative, and they said, "Hey, just normally when I are the town hall meetings, what I know, that's one person is speaking and the rest is quiet." So that was always my classic Loom use case. Um, how do you like tools like Loom and also with the more and more upcoming AI tools, who helping us to have less meetings, less conversations, to spend the time more effective? I mean that's the story what these tools are doing, and I also see it to add one more flavor to it. Um, Sometimes colleagues, especially when they are in the role where having meetings not on a daily basis or on an hourly basis or whatever, you can hear sometimes the sentence after a meeting. So now I should work a little bit. And so there is a little bit as a meeting is not work. So um, how do you see this whole bubble of new tools and upcoming and more upcoming behavior that having a meeting is not good. Let's do it something else with tools and so on. What are your thoughts on this?
It's a difficult question for me because we don't use Loom yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
good,
we are still on
good. But you heard from this.
yeah, we are still on data center, but we on the way to the cloud, but not yet. So we haven't any
Yeah.
Loom agents now. Yeah, so it's very hard to give here right answer regarding on Loom. But I can definitely understand what you mean. So for example, the town hall meeting, who are 250 people have an invite. So one person is speaking, or like one person from each role or higher. I don't know how to say
Business
that.
unit work.
Thank you, business unit. That was exactly this word. Well, what I was missing the last 40 minutes. Business unit is speaking, and then 200 people are sitting there and wait. Okay, when is my business unit coming? Have I missed it? And is it interesting for me or not? So it's very hard. So that is why we also stopped this town hall meeting and make like more business unit dedicated communication or calls who or which topics are completely only for the delivery, for the sales, and so on. It makes more sense. And everything what is for the completely company, um, there is then a blog post, or we make it for like new announcements, like a small call where someone presents something, but not longer than 20 or 30 minutes.
Then I'm really looking forward as soon you're on cloud, how your Loom
Me
experience is.
too.
Uh, um, so in this dialogue stuff, there are a lot of more things, and I also discussed it already with a couple of guests, and I'm super interested in your answer. A team is always a group of people with complete different personalities, different experiences, and you can sort it sometimes. You can sort people sometimes in these categories. I don't like it so much, but let's do it for a second. Um, so when you need to group a team in introverts and extroverts, and um, one one aspect on teams with mixed personalities is that you have relatively often the situation that extrovert people like you, like me,
Hello.
are louder than the introvert people. And this creates a situation which is super difficult for people who are not talking all the day unasked about something, is to bringing in their opinion, their picture, and so on. So you're now working also with a lot of different people in the different business units, departments, and so on. Do you have somehow a recipe or an behavior that you make sure that you get every opinion, that you're not just hear the stuff from the loud people, that you also hear the stuff from the opinion or the perspective from introverts, for example?
I think a recipe, it's hard to say. So because everybody needs to decide by their own how they can work with introvert and extrovert people. If you're a leader, it's very hard to hear everybody. But when you're in this position and you have team meetings, for example, with 40 people, you know every time the people uh, who would talk every time, who had every time a question, who had every time their own opinion. And these people, for example, the sitting there without the camera, say nothing. And sometimes they're not in this meeting and nobody cares because they don't say anything at all. So From my part is to enable and have a very, I would say, indeed relationship to them. So sometimes I called after this meeting this person directly, and say, it doesn't matter what you say right now. Nothing get out of my mouth, and you can't say any wrong questions. And I think this is back to relationship, and also to the meeting culture. You can't say, okay, the loud people or the extrovert people are are out from the meeting, and you have only a call with the introvert. Then they see, it's very hard. From my own, I do a meeting with everybody, and everybody knows the same people, and so on. And after that, I had weeklies or something like that, with the introvert people. Nobody knows that, but I got them also their opinion and their request, and yeah, because I know it's really hard to have a question, or when you have a question and ask this in front of 40 people, and the answer is, "Oh, we spoke about that already last week. Where was you?" Yeah.
So that's a cool strategy. I like it to have to give somehow additional space. I don't want to use the word safe space, but an additional space, or um, an additional space for the opinion. That's a nice strategy. I like it. I mean, we did it a little bit different, and there was our learning since a couple of months. I mean, we are using our own app, NASA, for our meetings. So this changed already something, because everybody need to prepare something for the meeting. Means also everybody need to talk. And we change. I mean, our town halls are much smaller. We are 30 people. We are
Oh,
not a couple of hundreds. So there you can. We have still the romantic idea that our town halls are called alignment demos and discussions. So already more, and not one person is speaking, the rest is consuming. No, it should be a conversation. But it was always one person speaking, or maybe two, three persons speaking, and the rest was consuming. And we changed, instead of that, product owners or management people explaining what happened in the last 3, 4 weeks. We switched it to the point, no, everybody can tell what they achieved in the last 3 weeks, and they need to prepare it. And with another app, they have automatically the visuals and so on. And this changed completely the flavor of the meeting. So because now not all 30 people speaking, but 20. But and it's not these three people anymore. But I also can see, and this is where then guidance and also training and just practicing is needed. So you can also see that some people are not feeling super comfortable with the situation to speaking in front of 30 people, or they don't know how to structure the points what they want to make. And then you have 20, 30, 40 things in the preparation, and you just see it and say, whoa, we need to extend the meeting. This person have enough agenda points for 3 hours. So um,
yeah.
so we're then practicing, and so on as needed. So, and I think your strategy is completely different, but I like it because um, it has um, it has this thing that you're not pushing people. Okay, you also need to be loud in the group of the loud people. So you're giving an additional way for hearing this. Super interesting. I like it.
But I think also, oh, sorry. I think also what in our company is also very difficult, and also for these people, the language. So we are a German-based company, grew up, I would say 2002 in Hamburg. So the most people are German. And of course, English right now, I speak that, I would say, every day, but our mother tongue is German. So when you have a people work very long, or it's not in the I don't know, it's very long, and we haven't spoke English the last 10 years. Um, so it's very hard for them to talk in English in front of, I don't know, 50 people. So
Yeah.
but I think what you mentioned, like prepare everything and get then for these different topics, um, I think we can do that definitely in the future in the cloud. So right now in DC, it's very hard to use a tool and implement a tool, but of course, in the future, it makes definitely also more time for gave me also more time for me.
So, me, you know how to call when you need the NASA app. So,
Of course.
nice something. um, cool. Um, but this was an interesting point, and it fits also to your topic dialogue. So means when what language is in your Jira tickets and in Confluence? Is it German or English?
Oh, sometimes it's also Hungarian or Spanish or Portuguese.
Really?
It no, yeah, sometimes when our Hungarian people talk to each other, there's some sentence in Hungarian. I was attending a meeting 2 weeks ago, and nobody saw me there. I was still there, and they're talking the most time in Hungary, and then somebody say, "Oh, Sabrina's here. She don't understand Hungarian." Ah, okay, let's switch to English. So, but our primary language is English. But of course, sometimes when you start Confluence site and you're only thinking of writing some potentials and you work only with your colleagues on the same, then you wrote in German. But it's also easy to translate it directly. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Here again, my recommendation: use Super Whisper because I can talk in German with my
very
notebook, and
clever.
it's writing English, and also proper English, so not my grammar incorrect English. What I'm talking
Yeah.
most of the time.
I wish we had it here in this in this podcast.
I mean, it's a that's a little bit as a side story. So we recorded the German podcast, and I had the assumption, hey, I can easily use an AI tool to translate the whole podcast in English. And there are tons of tools who can do it. But I tested them, so my voice was okay, but Sabrina, your voice was always completely
I
different.
was
And it's just
completely
thought,
different
okay.
person.
So I said I can't do it to you. So we need to record now in English again. Because I
Yeah.
thought I definitely want to have this episode in English as well. So thanks for this, for going through the hard task of doing the podcast again with me in English. Um, dialogue. What is your? I mean, I have these days, and in my previous job, my working days were somehow tons of meetings. So I measured it 1 year, many years ago, where meetings happened mostly with phones. So where you have a conference call and not a Zoom session and so on. And I measured 1 year my phone time on my work phone, and it was over 16 hours on a daily basis, including Saturday and Sunday. And I loved this job. It was a lot, but okay. Um, but my question goes a little bit in another direction. How do you manage? Because you have a lot of meetings on a daily basis. So, and this is exhausting on some point. So, how do you manage to come down to prepare for the next day? So, do you have somehow a superpower, a miracle where you say, okay, how can you relax, shut down the mind, the brain, not thinking about challenges, whatever, all the time? Um, do you have some recommendations for people who are sleeping at night, waking up and thinking about the next Atlassian problem, how to solve it?
I think superpower is definitely the right word. No, I wish I had it. No, so yeah, I think sports and have a different thoughts about things. It's very important. So sometimes during midday or in the evening, I go running, swimming, bicycle, handball training, and so on. So for me, that I need to change my mind. For example, when I go to my handball team, it's like you play in a team. You need to do something. You can't think about your work, and It's also when you go only around your area and hear like a podcast for different on different things, or you hear some music, or like walking somewhere to give your body um, a little bit more um, I don't know,
Exercise.
exercise. Thank you.
Yeah.
And bring your head also back a little bit to the beginning. And of course, in the evening, I know that you work the whole day and you lie there and it's complete everything is completely quiet and you think, okay, you need to sleep, but you can't. Everything you have is to your work. So that is why I watch sometimes TV, but not a series or a movie, because then I need to see that and will have the story. I'm looking random shitty gossip TV because then I, I don't need to think something about it and know how goes it in the future and what is the next step here. So then I can sleep, wake up all at the same. Okay, so yeah, that is I came down with that. I know that's a bit crazy.
I know now you said a lot of things, but for some reasons, I just remember you were watching trash TV to
Yeah,
come.
trash TV.
That's cool. I mean, I see it also by myself. It depends a little bit on day and on the day. And I personally, a person, I need stress. I need positive
Yeah.
stress because then um, my function works best when it's a stressful time. Um, and a lot of people don't like stress or they think stress is something negative. And yes, for sure, stress exists on a lot of negative ways. But I think a positive stress is can push you to new levels. You learn a lot with that and so on. But exactly what you're saying that when you're a whole day on it's like driving on the German autobahn the whole day with 180, then you're going out of the car and your hands are shaking a little bit and so on. So when you did it for hours, um, so it needs a good strategy to come down at the end of the day or during the day. And I like this within doing sports and the lunch break and so on and trash TV. Yeah, yeah, I like it. I like it. My sister is working also for a huge company in Germany. When she has stressful situation, she watched animal documentations at home. So
Interesting. Interesting.
just
This
some animal documentation,
yeah.
and then the world is fine.
Yeah, the point is so many people say, "Oh, you need to do yoga, you need to like lying down and then have a heard some, I don't know, in German we would say autogenes training. I think it's very hard in English to pronounce. So hear something and feel like you are on the beach, you're lying there and you feel your toes, you feel your hands. I can't concentrate. Definitely not. It's just exactly when I do here a yoga position. After 2 minutes, I think what I do here. That's it's. I can't do that. Okay, I need to go outside and go running or something like that. For me. It's sorry for that. I for this person who love yoga and everything else, I'm very proud of them. I can't concentrate. For me, it's too boring.
So something need to happen. Okay, good.
Yes, to do something.
Um, Good. So let's come to the last part of the podcast. So I asked you three questions in the beginning. So it's a 0612. So let me share quickly my screen
Mhm.
and let's jump to the first question. So the first question is always what was an interesting challenge besides yoga? Um, what you have faced recently where you couldn't find an existing playbook that it worked out. So means was there something where you need to develop by yourself a plan, a strategy to reach your goals?
Yeah, if I already wrote there, so the when the relationship what I have restructured last year with my colleague Michi was very hard, but very interesting because there were no, if already there were no playbook. So when you started in the sales, the end of the months, you you need to have the value, you need to have the feedback from the customer as your goal. But what is the goal from the vendor relationship management? There was an interesting question I got, and then I discussed with Michi, okay, what are my goals? What are my KPIs? What can I do to make the partner relationship more valuable for the Catworks? Um, and then he said, I have no answer. Go for it. Good. Thank you for nothing. But then, but for me, it was, I would say, not too hard. In some point, yes, but I knew it already, the Atlassian ecosystem, and also a lot of vendors or people at vendors, for example, you. So I had already this relationship, not on the in the higher part, but I know names. I knew already names. I knew already these vendors. So I was walking a little bit around and asked them, okay, you're a partner manager in this company. We know each other since years. How do you do your work? What are your goals? And also from Michi's side, because he worked very closely already with some app vendors, and he told me, you need to reach out to this person, to this person. And in the beginning, my English was also very bad, and I told him I can't do that. It was my English, so everybody will laugh at me because I can't understand anything. I don't can say anything. Um, so I started, yeah, on the green grass with a good, I would say, personal or virtual relationship to the person, and then I built everything up. But right now, I haven't the answer yet. What is my goal? Okay, my goal is to make the Catworks more, have more valuable for the Catworks with the partners. That is the goal, but it's not like you have no money under it, for example. So
You can't measure it.
I can't measure it. Yeah, that's the right answer.
So what is I asked this also a couple of guests interested again in your answer, and fits perfect to this. It's a question related to it. What is your personal goal for that? So what is your, well, and I don't mean the classic application question in job interviews. So where do you want to be in 5 years? So what I mean is, what uh, brings you every morning to wake up? Yeah, alarm clock, but to stand up to go to work. Today I want to achieve X, Y, that. So how do you measure for yourself this was a successful day or a successful week? So what is your personal measurement point?
It is definitely the meetings that I have, because I have different cultures, people with their emotional behind. I love to speak with people, and also to I would say build build things together. So when I'm the person and I can build a really good bridge between our delivery and the vendor, and then in the end, 2 3 weeks doesn't matter. In the future, we had a very good solution, for example, or a webinar with this vendor. I can say, okay, I've done my job, and I like it to build everything up, learn from things, and yeah, be a be a part of the whole ecosystem. And for me, it's when I go over an event, and everybody say, "Oh, look, this is Sabrina from Catworks." Catworks is the biggest or a huge integration solution partner in the Atlassian ecosystem. Then I have my goal, and yeah, this is, I don't know. I love my job in every different situations.
I mean, that's where we all in the, oh, we both in the lucky situations that we can say it, yeah, that we love our jobs. So it's cool. So it's funny, from an episode which will be released potentially today or Monday with Kit from Essential. He said something super funny, and he tell it to you. He said that his personal measurement point is when colleagues saying to him, "You have so much. I can see that you have so much fun at your job." Because he had a strange role in a center, 800,000 people. So he explained it a little bit. Nobody knows what he's really doing, but they can see that he is a person in the company with most fun on what he's working. This is his measurement for success. So I found it really cool.
But I will add there something. I had the same, but not with the colleagues. I had the same with friends and family, because they say, "How you have so much funny in your company and you love your job. I can't understand. You stand every day, or you sit every day in the front of your computer, have your mouse with you, and earn money. What are you doing?" I can't grab something. I see you every time in front of this 8 to 10 hours, and from me, you do nothing and look in your computer and you're in the internet. That's it. And that is exactly the same, but from the other part of they don't know what you are doing. And it's funny.
A friend of mine who owns a construction company, he always says when we're talking about work that I'm just playing Office. So, but yes, good. Okay, so to summarize the challenge here, because they're really cool answers a little bit. My understanding is now how to how you managed the stuff that there's no existing playbook. So I learned, okay, still reaching the goal, the definition of goal in partner management. I think you found picked out one really cool sentence beside your personal measurement points. So when after all your activities, when you created or you were part of it, that Catworks has a working solution delivered to a customer where multiple parts come together. I found this is a really cool definition of your goal. So hopefully you're not getting now new goals with also a variable payment. So 10 solutions per week, please, Sabrina. But I also like the way how the way how you solved the problem that there's no existing playbook. You said you reached out to other partner managers, and I assume also partner managers from potential competitors. I mean, we in the Atlassian ecosystem, a lot of people talking relatively open, share their experience and so on. I think that is what that's a little bit a superpower. What a lot of people, from my perspective, forget when they have a challenge to ask somebody who had the same challenge, but before they start, because this is what we had in the beginning a little bit with these responsibilities and give it away and so on. I really like that you did this stuff. 6 months. So what did you face in the next 6 months? What are your challenges? So I know you explained it also in the German podcast a little bit. So you're at the moment in an internal restructuring in not a small company. So means it's not done in 2-3 days. So how's it going for you? What will come up the next 6 months?
The restructure, we've done it already. So we have already the 3 different categories. But my goal is definitely build more bridges here. So I don't mean between the product delivery and managed service and support. That's not my part. But I would bring the information from our biggest vendors, and I mean with information, newings, engagement, services, license, include all the business units. And therefore, I will also include our Time to Act brand with us including 11 different IT companies. And yeah, that would be my goal, bring everything together that everybody knows. Okay, we have, for example, for problems, for meeting culture, we have the NASA app, for example, we had in the back, but also when the customers say, I have problems with my ERP system, we have, of course, also a company in the Time to Act group to forward it to the customer. So more and more out of like thinking only in my box to be like more thinking outside and speak with the people and to be more open, and yeah, thinking more in use cases and solutions, and not I've done that the last I don't know 3 years, and I will do that right now. Oh, the same in the future.
I mean, that's a challenging task. So it's
Not 6
I mean,
months, maybe 6 years. No, no, just kidding. But yeah, there are many goals, but step by step.
I wish you all the luck. I had the experience because I see it a little bit from the classic sales perspective. I saw it in the past also from the sales perspective. So when you are a company with a multi-vendor offering and you are organized in separate companies in the Time to Act group, so means you have relatively different processes. Some that they are aligned and so on. You have different projects. An SAP project is something completely different as integrating Loom in their company and so on. So and from this from a salesperson perspective, I mean, sales is a really hard job, but at the end, the salesperson is also a little bit lazy and want to avoid conflicts because I need to sell something. Yeah. So and then what I saw in the past, and I think that's potentially your challenge is when you combine and align offers from multiple companies. It's always a challenge how to align it to the customer facing side, to the sales side, and so on, because so many different things come together, so many different departments and so on. So I wish you all the best for that. I know it is a hard task. It is a really hard task. And cool. No, looking forward to it. So means in a couple of months or 6 years, I then can request a quote for a SAP Loom combination.
Of course, that's not a problem.
Okay.
I promise.
Perfect. I definitely can see you are also a salesperson. So the first answer is, of course, not a problem.
I don't know how, but
That's
we would do.
luxury problems. We called it luxury problems in the past. Or it sounds like a next week problem.
True.
Um,
Not actual Sabrina problem, Sabrina future problem. So
yeah, exactly. I think your question to what you're planning to be in 1 year, you define here already a little bit that this happens. So means when I need to picture now what your journey will be the next 12 months. So it's taking all the different local business units, offering start that they communicate with each other, collaborate, find the first project, experiment, and then putting this somehow more and more together in how you explained the TM writing in an integrated value partner of all these solutions. So do you have a plan for this? Do you have a strategy? Is there somewhere a hidden strategy paper, Sabrina's strategy paper for value integration partner, 200 pages next to your desk? Or is it, hey, let's start with step one. I don't know what step two will be, but let's start with step one. How do you plan to do this stuff in the next year?
I have a 465 PowerPoint presentation. No, so I think it's the same with a partner management, the restructure. So we are right now here in a situation we had in the situation before, and it's not only me to can yeah to make the change. So it's a change from everybody and also personality, not only from the leaders. So it's a funnel. So when you have a change, you put it in the funnel, and then the leader needs to be changed something, but also by themselves, and then they bring it down. So I think sometimes we need to start somewhere. For example, right now we will work more with resolution. Let us start with a campaign, then we invite our own colleagues, then we build the bridge to the sales structure. They need to, or they should, invite also their customers. Then we make a LinkedIn post, and include of that, we can also yeah make a podcast right now. So to make more this relationship together. So I think, yeah, this is a start. And in the end, we include all the vendors, we include the time to act. We have then, hopefully in the future, as soon as possible, one system, one group. So we can work together on the SAP and everything else. And yeah, that is my goal or
It's too easy.
challenge. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah.
No, sounds like a really, really valuable plan. So it's I can see also upcoming challenges with that, but cool challenges. So I really wish you all the best for this plan. Um, Maybe not focus on SAP first. I did one SAP migration.
I haven't seen it. Can we replace it for another word, maybe? Atlassian group?
Yeah, no. No, I mean, also Atlassian is changing a lot. Yeah, so when we look on all the stuff what they announced at Team 25, so there are more team management tools now, resource management tools.
DWs.
It's yeah, it's not that Atlassian inventing something new here. They're just going now in an area where organizations use at the moment other tools or doing it different, and they want to integrate and combine it and find a better solution. So I think we have constantly this challenge. Sabrina, thank you very much. An amazing episode of this podcast. It was a pleasure. I enjoyed it similar like the German version of the podcast. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to see the Catworkx next steps and to see all the amazing stuff you have talked about. One last question: when somebody want to meet you in person, what are the next events where people can meet you in person? I will also share your LinkedIn stuff and so on, but maybe in person. What is the next event? Is it also Team 25, or is there in Barcelona, or is there something earlier?
We have on the 8th of July in Cologne the Inside. There's a time to act event with all the IT companies and customers. And also I plan right now right now it is a ACE champion, an ACE in Lower Saxony, in the next 1 or 2 months. So maybe there. And yeah, and I will do also advertising for our German podcast. So I think that it was a good part of. There are some other things we talked about and some deep dives. So yeah, little different than here, but
Yeah, I crashed a little bit your preparation, I heard. So that's
I know.
cool. Sabrina, thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Have a beautiful day and enjoy your weekend.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy the weekend, the sun, and everything else.